little bit of time. Just want to check, is my sound okay for everyone? Can you hear me okay? Just say maybe yes in the chat. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome to my presentation with Tasha Chuang. Tasha may pop in if she's still awake. She is in Taipei at the moment, in Taiwan, on the other side of the planet, ancestral lands of the Atayal folks, indigenous community. And so if she can come by, that's great, but I wouldn't expect her to be awake. Great. And yes, and there's there's a note from the organizers in the chat if you're having any audio issues. So I will be playing video of Tasha's all of you, so you'll have a chance to hear her voice and see her present her passion for tea, which is really quite amazing. Just a little bit about what this a virtual tour and meditation presentation. What is this? And what does this have to do with resiliency? Well, I think that, you know, as we've been experiencing throughout this wonderful conference, resiliency is so much about both the personal and the collective. Being able to connect to everyday experiences who produce the tea that she drinks, that we'll have a chance to meditate together, and I'll be sharing a very informal tea meditation practice. Will be accessible to all of you and be yet another tool for taking care of the work that we're doing. And a little bit about myself, for those of you who are about Tasha. So I am a partner with New York City Meditation. I'm also an educator. I work as an adjunct instructor at NYU's Tandon School of Engineering. And in addition to that, I have for many years. And so this is right here. And Tasha, who's in the center with long black hair in our meditation community. And that's how I met Tasha, meditating together for many years now, even now that multiple oceans divide us. And in terms of Tasha's background, Tasha is a graphic designer. She used to work as an illustrator and artist in New York City. She currently still works as an artist in Taipei. And in addition to that, she is a meditation facilitator and forest therapist. So she has been incorporating tea meditation practice in her guided meditations and forest therapy work in the vicinity of Taipei and Taiwan. So with that, I'd like to just move on to the video of Tasha's tour so that you can all get a chance to hear her own words and experience her beautiful that she took. Almost all of the photographs are Tasha's in the presentation. So you'll have a chance to see Taiwan from her eyes. So let me go ahead and share that.
To thank Kathy.
Okay. And
to thank Kathy for inviting.
There we go.
To thank inviting me have this opportunity to share about my experience with you all with sustainable.
I just want to check really quickly. Can everybody hear Tasha's voice okay? I know it's tough with the video. Oh, fantastic. Okay, then we'll move forward. Back to Tasha.
Tea farming in Taiwan and the practice of tea meditation.
Hey, Catherine. Is the video paused?
Cost me headaches.
Sorry,
And,
no, it's
so,
oh no, is it, did you guys lose the video?
I think we lost the
Oh
video,
gosh.
or
Okay.
we see it moving, but we don't hear it.
Oh dear. Okay. I was trying, but I must have failed. Okay, let's try again.
Okay.
I'll back up a little bit. Thank you.
No worries.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll stop the screen share and start again and see if that helps. Okay.
That might be good.
Still learning.
And I'll check with the tech team
right.
as well.
Thank you. All right.
I felt very detoxed after drinking like 5 different types of tea. And so I was very surprised because I was never a big tea drinker because a lot of times the teas actually cost me insomnia and also some cost me headaches. And so I always thought that maybe it's just that, I shouldn't be drinking too much tea and it didn't resonate with me. But but I changed my mind on that day, and of all the teas that I drank, several served by Mr. Yu, I was very impressed with the wild-grown white tea that truly surprised me, and because when it felt like I was drinking a little forest, and its energy had an effect on me. So that got me curious. It was so different, and why it had such special energy. And the other teas were really great and really delicious already, but this one was very special. So on my second visit, Mr. Yu showed on the tea farms, and I got to see the environment. It was grown just like this type of environment. They were
You're letting me know the sound is cut out again. Let me try this. I'm just having trouble with the video. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay.
Used to be grown in this environment. And
Hey, Catherine, is it a YouTube video? And we've got a request chat if there's a link to the video. Maybe we could all watch independently. Oh, there we go.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, neither Tasha or I are very tech savvy. This was originally, she had given this live over Zoom, and I just did my best to record it. So we're not here that great with this stuff. So there is no link really that I can share, unfortunately.
No worries.
I really was doing my best to accommodate we weren't sure what time we would have. It had been Tasha could have been here live to give the presentation.
I think I noticed you might have muted yourself, and that might be why we couldn't hear the video.
I should my mic on through the video, and then everyone
because I think it's playing through your computer and then picking it up again. Okay, I think we're like maybe a minute. If you could
should I just take out my head? Thanks everyone for your patience. I'm really all
no
right.
Worries,
Let's try. Great. So.
And I think Austin's here to help with any tech issues too.
I would share 3 tea farmers that I personally know and are very unique.
Is that, can y'all hear that? When I just had it?
Yep, that's great. Yeah, just don't put yourself on mute.
Okay,
that's perfect.
Playing in their own ways. So one from northern part of Taiwan, Mr. Yu, who I already introduced, and one from Taiwan, and one from southern part of Taiwan. And because of their geographical locations, they also produce teas which are unique to their region. And these areas are also known for tea plantation. So the first one is Mr. Yu from Pinling, whom I already introduced. So I still want to talk a little bit about him because I learned quite a bit from him. And he's one of the pioneering organic tea farmers in Pinling, who also helped other farmers transition to organic farming and encourage them not to use pesticide or fertilizer, because besides from seeing the benefits of drinking clean teas, I also learned the importance of sustainable tea farming from him and its impact on the environment. So one time on a rainy day, I went to visit him to get more teas for myself. And he showed me how showed me the difference between organic farms and those with pesticides and fertilizer. So rainwater flowed down into the shed. One was muddy, while the other was clear. So the organic farms, like the rainwater coming from the organic farms, was clear because they don't cut down. They let the tea trees grow naturally, and their roots are stronger to the soil, so that when it rains, the rainwater doesn't get muddy. And so it was clear that to me, and Pinling has the reservoir that provides water to the citizens of Taipei, and it's clear to me that how sustainable tea farming in general is so crucial to our earth and also to our own health. And so, and this is the second tea farmer that I would like to introduce, Mr. Chen from Nantou, which is in the central part of Taiwan. And this also very well known for a lot of good tea. So he left the IT industry to take over his father's tea farms. And his father was one of the many farmers who grew tea with pesticide and fertilizer in order to produce bigger quantity of tea. So it was kind of against his father's will to transition into sustainable tea farming. And I guess his father was worried about him not being able to make a living out of it. And which is kind of a typical Asian parent who really always worry about their kids. So he's very smart with his farming and wants to produce high quality teas that are unique and different from other people, other farmers. And I really enjoy his teas as well. Amazingly, after drinking his teas for like 2 years, his father stopped the need to go to the hospital because he used to have to go to the hospital regularly. And I think that also convinced his father that he's doing the right thing. And for the first time, I think one time he told me that one time that he saw hawks like flying over the region, which was very unusual because many of the tea farms actually use pesticide. And so he said that he had not seen that happen in 30 years. So that also kind of showed that, organic farming, sustainable farming brings back these creatures. And this is a lot of the tea farmers, organic tea farmers in Taiwan are small and family owned. And a lot of times they have to basically do everything. Like they would hire people to pluck the tea leaves, but sometimes they do it themselves. And so he's also a very smart farmer because the first tea farms, because there are like a lot of insects coming to eat his leaves, the tea leaves, because he doesn't use pesticide to kill these insects and the grass as well. So he came up with the idea to plant vegetables because vegetables are sweeter than tea leaves. So they start attacking his tea trees and just start just eat the vegetables. So he's quite a smart person, and this is how they make tea. It's kind of the reflection of the tea, is the essence of nature. And the
Okay, so let me switch to our last video from Tasha, and to open up.
It's the third one.
Oh, okay. Get that ready to share, hopefully.
This one is actually.
Okay. Here we go. Get the right thing. All right. So hopefully the sound works again.
It's the third one. This one is actually from the south, from my tea farmer friend who's an indigenous. It's one of the tribal, like indigenous peoples in Taiwan. They're very famous for their singing. And so this is the mountains, and that's the mother. This is the friend, but this is the mother who actually she plucked the tea leaves and herself, and she made the tea. And so all these three are a lot of these local tea farmers are actually family, owned, and the whole family is like a family business. So they would do it themselves because it's a very small business. But I get most of my tea from these people, and so I went to visit all these tea farms, and then I went to the mountains. Actually, this one is high up in the mountains, and so I went to visit them and actually learn to pluck tea. And then these tea trees. And what's so special about this group, this family? Tea trees are indigenous to Taiwan, because the rest of most of the tea trees that grow in Taiwan, the tea trees actually came from China at one point. And this is the tree that actually is indigenous to Taiwan. And they discovered this tea. They are tea trees because during the Japanese occupation, Taiwan was occupied by Japan for about 55 years. And the indigenous people actually saw the Japanese people, plucking these tea leaves and cooking them, and then they realized they're quite tasty. Like it's quite tasty, and that's why they started, not cutting down these tea trees. But so that's like they're really like wild. And so that's the tea that actually we pluck, and we this is the easiest way to make the tea is to make it into white tea, because it doesn't take a lot of the process is not so complicated. And then so I continue to share about these what is it, so it became a kind of a practice for me to share tea and to have tea with friends, like wherever I travel. And so it's like a new practice to me. And it shows that this comes from the water. Yes. And then after this, we are going to, and this is like the more of ceremony, is that and there are six kinds of tea. And the white tea, you see the color, the yellow tea, and green tea, oolong, black. We call it black in the West, but in Taiwan or in the East, we call it red tea because the color is red. And the last one is highly oxidized It's called black tea. It should be a little even darker than that. And Taiwan has produces like 5 of these teas, except the black one, and that's only from China. That they produce by a lot of them produced by indigenous people as well. And what's so interesting about this is that each tea is good for certain organ. Like for example, white tea is actually good for the lungs, and so I think the universe was really like a wonder because each tea actually nourishes each organ, and yellow tea is very good for spleen, so it's very good for digesting system, and then the white tea is actually very good for your lungs, and then green tea is very good for our you know the green tea is very good for liver, very good for liver. So when we drink green tea, you can feel that our eyes, because our eyes are connected to our liver, so our eyes actually feel a little bit brighter. And oolong is considered also kind of like they are related. So it's very good for liver. And black tea, which what we call red tea, is good for the heart because it's the color of the heart. And then there's the black tea, not the like pu'er, for example, is black tea. It's good for the kidney. So it's just I found it very interesting that they are sort of like related to our organs, internal organs. So our bodies.
Okay. So I loved how Tasha was sharing about her response to tea in this such a deep way, because it was both her understanding that she gained from visiting all of those farmers, but also just really deepening her sense of her own health through the tea that she was drinking. Something that I find really about traditional tea is that all of those different teas that Tasha was talking about all come from the, and it's really just variations in how they're harvested and how they're processed that makes the different kinds of tea. And so we're going to shift gears a little bit and do a little tea meditation together. I hope you're ready for that. So if you need to get some tea or some, a refill on the tea that you have, you can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to, hopefully, if all works out, play a little video of Tasha, one of Tasha's out tea meditation sessions and workshops, and that also features her lovely chanting. So I really hope the sound works out for everybody on this one. Wish me luck. And in the meantime, those of you who don't have tea, you can go ahead and grab some tea and we will be shifting gears. Okay. I hope this works. All right. Oh dear, what happened? Alrighty. Again. Oh. Okay, so for some reason, that's too bad. Okay, well, we've got people. Excellent. We've got people with their tea ready. So unfortunately, we won't have Tasha's singing. I can still play it a little bit later in the while we're meditating. I'm gonna go ahead and start brewing my tea. I have I actually have some tea that Tasha gave me from farmer Mr. Chen, the third farmer that she visited and talked about, and some yellow tea. So I'm gonna have that brewing. And just to get us started, so tea meditation, as Tasha mentioned, can be very formal. It has a very long history. Tea ceremony itself is a beautiful practice, cultural practice. There's so many variations. People go to school to learn it, and it's gorgeous. But the thing is, what's great about this is that it can be very simple. Tea meditation can be really pared down to the simple act of really connecting to the moment and drinking tea and bringing all of your awareness to the simple act of drinking tea. And that in itself can be quite profound and beautiful. And so that's what we're going to be practicing today. I'll offer some guiding words to share with you all. And also I'll share my screen, and so you can see some words as well. And we'll get started. If everyone has their tea, let me go ahead here. All right. So if everyone has their tea, we can start by just let's take some deep breaths to all kind of come in unison with each other. So just breathing in through your nose deeply and exhaling slowly through your mouth. And again, a deep breath in through your nose and a slow exhale through your mouth. Just feel yourself settling into your seat. Breathing in again, third time, deep. Fill up those lungs. Hold it. And exhale. So when you're ready, I invite you to take a sip. Start to sip your tea and really bring your senses to the awareness of this act. Notice how all of the senses react to the tea. The warmth of the cup, the smell of the tea, the glint of the light on the water, the sound of your breath, and the taste. And as you're drinking, I'm going to read a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh, since it's tiny on the screen, so that you all can enjoy these words as you contemplate your tea. And the poem goes like this. Tea is an act, complete in its simplicity. When I drink tea, there's only me and the tea. The rest of the world dissolves. No worries about the future, no dwelling on past mistakes. Tea is simple. Loose leaf tea, hot pure water, a cup. I inhale the scent, tiny delicate pieces of the tea floating above the cup. I drink the tea, the essence of the leaves becoming a part of me. I am informed by the tea, changed. This is the act of life in one pure moment. And in this act, the truth of the world suddenly becomes revealed. all the complexity, pain, drama of life is a pretense, invented in our minds for no good purpose. There's only the tea and me converging. So part of the beauty of this poem is that in the moment, when our awareness is focused on the tea, it gives us a space of rest from all the worries and stress and complexities of our lives, from the pain that we witness and the healing that we so desperately and eagerly work towards. In this moment, we are present, drinking tea, alive, filled with the vitality of this simple act. So another reference that I find really powerful as I drink this tea and breathe and try to focus my attention, as I keep returning to the act of drinking, bringing my senses back. It's the first of the 5 contemplations. And this is, I changed the wording a little bit of these to make sense for our tea drinking and sharing together. But I felt like this is also really resonant, this first contemplation, that this drink is the gift of the whole universe, the earth, the sky, numerous living beings, and much hard, loving work. So just as you can really be present with the tea, feeling it connect to you as you ingest it with all of your senses, you're also at the same time ingesting so much more, because this tea carries the sunlight that nourished the plant, carries the rain and the clouds, carries the soil, the minerals where that plant once grew. This tea carries the ecosystems that this plant may have sustained, all the insects and animals that were nourished by this plant while it lived, while it still might live, before it was harvested. And similarly, this tea contains all the energy of the people who grew and harvested this plant, who took the time to cultivate it, who brought it all this far way, however it got to you, so that you could be drinking your tea right now. And so all of this vitality, all of this life, this presence of earth and sky is part of what we drink when we drink tea, when we consume anything. And it becomes part of ourselves, connecting us to places and people, animals and plants that are both removed from us and yet very intimately a part of us. And we in turn have the capacity to then bring that nourishment that we bring to ourselves when we reach out and connect to others in our life, in our work. We extend that onward. So in that way, the simple act of drinking tea isn't so simple. And yet, it's such a great tool. I find it such a great tool for returning, being present, and realizing what a miracle this present moment really is. So with that, let's take 3 deep breaths again and close out our meditation. Breathing in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. In deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. Slow exhale. Another deep breath in. Fill up those lungs. And exhale slowly out. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. I hope that you found some benefit from this practice, and I wanted to spend the last portion of this session giving a chance for us to share some reflections. I have a number of my students here, and I would love to give them a chance to share. Maybe they want to share in the chat, or if they want to actually, I think they can request to come up into the panel. So I'm not sure how that works. But maybe for those of you who are here. Oh, hi, Anna.
Hey, just announcement that there's a share an audio button on your top right of the little hop-in screen. So you should be able to click that and then we can accept it.
Okay. Does it show up when people ask to share audio, or?
It should be in the top right for everyone, I think.
Okay.
So just, and then we can accept it and then they can hop in, so to speak.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Anna. So for those of you who are here, why don't you come up with me? And don't worry, you won't, I'm just gonna, we're just gonna share a little, do some reflecting back. So, okay. Hi, Andrew. Andre and Alice. Okay, great.
Mm.
Hi, welcome. So glad you could be up here.
Mm-hmm.
And
is my audio fine?
Yeah, your audio is great. And I don't know where Alice is. I think she maybe saw her trying to come up, but we might need some extra. Oh, there she is. Okay, great. Yay. And I saw Belinda before too. Maybe Belinda can join. We've got Sandy. Great. Hi, Sandy. Aw, thank you. So since you all have been getting to meet and learn about different gardeners and farms, and so much of Tasha's experience in her that it has informed to where her tea came from, and how that has influenced her understanding of sustainability in the choices she makes around food. So I would love to invite all of you to maybe share a sentence or two about any similar changes or in ideas or inspiration that you've gotten from the farms and gardens that you've know through class. And maybe we'll start with Andre, and we can
yeah, for sure. So a
across
topic
to
that I
everyone.
really found interesting, and this relates to my major in tandem, which is sustainable urban environment, which is kind of similar to like urban studies, is the topic of biophilia. And right now I'm also taking a class in evidence-based design, which is like it's kind of like a step up on environmental psychology. So in that class, I have to write a term paper on just any topic I want. And after taking Professor Catherine's class, I was interested in the topic of biophilia and how its benefits have on like it has mental and physical benefits on all the residents. So I was trying to relate both of these topics. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic. Alice, what would you like to share? Any inspiration from the gardens and farms?
Hello? Wait, can you hear me?
Ooh. Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a little there's
a little
background
loud.
noise.
Like it's the train is passing by right now, so it's a little bit loud. So I think one of the things I really connected to was actually this presentation with Tasha, because this presentation I actually watched it with my parents. So there was a big cultural aspect
Oh,
to it.
nice.
Yeah, like I saw all the tea leaves and I was like, oh, my dad would love this, because he was telling me about his experiences growing up, because he grew up in a very similar environment where he had to grow tea leaves too in his village to make money and stuff, like back in the days. So I thought
Wow.
that was very like kind of inspiring to me, to see how like somebody that grew up in a farm environment now lives in the city. So to me, I want to like incorporate more of this aspect in the cities that I grew up in, because I feel like it's a very beneficial and important thing to know about, especially for urban resiliency, since I always thought that there was such a big disconnection from the urban life and the farm life, like there was nothing in common, but there actually is so much in common, and that's something I want to explore more.
Well, thank you, Alice. That's fantastic. So about you, Sandy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. So I really want to share what my research for the class was is so our group was focusing on public health and wellness, and we want to relate how like farming can improve the public health, both like mentally and physically to people. So we actually like experienced in the volunteering for NYU's Urban Farm Lab, which is a actual urban garden in the Manhattan area. And by like volunteering there for 2 hours, I really experienced how farming just makes people relaxed, especially in like cities where like everything is packed. We have so many cars, we have so many crowds, and everyone's like anxious every day. Like farming and planting, just relax people, and it also gives you more exposure to sunlight, which is definitely really beneficial for your physical health. So that's something I learned from this class, and just it also gives me the chance to like actually go out there and volunteer at the garden. I think that's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Sandy. That's lovely. That's a lovely reflection. So Belinda, last but not least, would you like to share?
Sure. Can you hear me? Just to make sure. Okay. Yeah. So like since Sandy and I were in the same group, I'm just like gonna add on to her point. So like I went to the same farm volunteering with her, and so like after that, our group is sort of just like discussing like what kind of project we might can do just to improve our students' life. So like we were thinking about, so like in NYU Tandon, like our student health center is on the base floor, and it was dark, and there's basically no window, and it's very small, and so like I'm a scary cat, so like I like every time I go there, like whether I'm getting a flu shot or I'm getting something checked out, I'm always nervous. So like I just feel like so by having plants planting around, that was really helpful, and that's just like something I learned from this class. Is just like ways that I haven't thought of. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Belinda. I know it's really incredible when we start to connect with the plants around us, with the world, the open space, and start to even the food system and all of that. It really has a powerful impact. Thank you all so much for sharing. I very much appreciate that. And you all, if you want to return to the chat or whatever you can. We've got about 5 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes left in this presentation time. And I wanted to also open it up to folks who are here. If you want to ask any questions or share any reflections of your own from the meditation, you can share them in the chat. And I can, that way, I'm sure folks will be interested in what you have to say. And I will also share, it's very tiny, but hopefully you can see our contact information in case you would like to be in touch. And I think you can also find our contacts in the profiles, especially if you have questions for Tasha, who unfortunately can't be with us present in this time, but I certainly hope you got a sense of who she is as a person through her photography and her hearing her stories. Okay. So with that, thank you all. If you have any, I would love to see any thoughts on your experience of the meditation, any reflections of your own. So if you want to share them in the chat, I'm definitely curious. Well, thank you, Sophia. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I do hope that that for many of you, this sort of short break of meditation was helpful. Ah, so very true. And Jenna, to your point about the power of meditation in the storms, most certainly. There are so many intense things going on in our lives, in our work, and so many of the folks here, you all are on the front lines. You're all putting so much heart into making this world a better place. That's why we're here. That's why you came here. And that work does take energy, and it's not easy. And so all the tools that we can use to take care of ourselves, to connect with the vitality of the earth, with the vitality of the moment, and just how we can truly deeply nourish ourselves so that we can show up and be present for others. It's just so important. Aww. Thank you, Erin. That's lovely to hear as well. Oh, great. I hope that many of you got some benefit. I'm glad that a few of you are sharing. Thank you especially to my students. I'm so proud to have you here with me, and it's so lovely to get to share and show off all of you to all of these folks here at the conference, because you all are so wonderful and talented, and you all have such bright futures ahead of you. So I'm very proud and happy that you are here with me today. And also a big thank you to my colleagues who've been so supportive and continue to be supportive, those of you who came to this session. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to Tasha, who has just been a wonderful friend and mentor and teacher all these years. And her passion for meditation and tea is inspiring and boundless. And it's just been such a pleasure to get to work with her in class on this and to share a little bit and the work that she does and what drives her passion with all of you. So thank you. And with that, we wrap up our session. And I believe we have a break next. So even more opportunity to get some self-care in. And I'm happy to hang around until the very end. Oh, thank you, JK. If folks have more questions or any last minute thoughts, otherwise, you all can, go on to the next session or break. I think the break is coming up. And I should give a call out actually to JK. JK has been another amazing collaborator for my class. She's an avid community garden activist, environmental activist, and supporter of community gardens. She gardens in the Lower East Side, and before COVID, she used to give tours to my students of her amazing garden. And so she gave us a virtual tour this year, which isn't the same, but I'm still very appreciative of support and skill. Okay. So true, JK, so true. The gardens will be open again. Sure enough, we'll be free of COVID one day. Aw, thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you at some of the afternoon sessions, and maybe in the lobby or the auditorium later today. Take care, everyone. Thank you again for coming to this session and being such wonderful, supportive guests.